Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on this particular look that I'm currently sporting. I've got jasmine flowers, I've got temple jewelry, I've got some amazing warm tone makeup look today, and this is the bridal look. And if you are in lockdown, if you're not able to find any bridal artist, how you can do self makeup on yourself, I did my own makeup on my virtual engagement day as well, and I wore this sari only, and I did kind of like a similar look but not this bold on the eyes. But yeah, you can definitely follow these steps to achieve a very nice makeup look. You can do your own makeup for your engagement or your kind of like marriage and stuff like that. And all of this you see on my face is all drugstore, you guys. There's no single product that is a high-end product. Everything that I've used today is drugstore. This is a a Pakka Tamil engagement or bridal makeup look, I can say. So this is how it turned out, and I love the way it has turned out, guys. If if you're interested in knowing how I created this particular look, then please keep on watching. Before which, please take a moment to hit the red color subscribe button right underneath this video, and also hit the bell notification so that you get notified every single time I upload. Now let's get started with this beautiful makeup tutorial. The first step is to clip your hair back so that they don't get in the way. So that's what I'm doing here. And now I'm going to prep my lips. Before I start with makeup, I just like to go in and prep my lips with Vaseline so that by the time we get to the lips, they are well nourished. So first I'm starting off with eyebrows, for which I'm using this eyebrow kit by Wet n Wild, which is a beautiful eyebrow kit. It's very nice. So I'm using a spoolie to brush my eyebrows out, and then just shaping my eyebrows a little bit and filling them in as I go. And I'm just using short strokes to fill into my eyebrows, and that's how I like to fill into my eyebrows, you guys. It's like very simple. Just go in with the natural shape of your eyebrows, and that way it gets filled in very nicely. Now moving on to the front part, I'm just drawing a few hair like strokes very gently, and then just filling it in, then brushing them out. Then for eyes, I'm just going to start with the L'Oreal concealer. This is the Infallible concealer in the shade 317 as an eyeshadow base, and I'm going to blend this out with this buffing brush that I really like. It came in kind of like a brush set. It's by Puna store, I guess. It works very nice to buff out the concealer and stuff like that. And I'm going to set this very lightly, you guys. You have to set the concealer very lightly with the help of the powder, otherwise it's going to cake up and it's not going to look nice. So just use a very light dusting. For eyeshadow palette, I'm going to be using this rose gold palette by Makeup Revolution, but you can also use other palettes, which I'm going to be showing you next. So this is also by Makeup Revolution, and this is the neutrals versus neutrals palette. Another beautiful palette. It has warm tones, it has cool tones, couple of mattes, couple of shimmers. It's a beautiful palette. I've used this multiple times, and this is always available on a discounted price, and bonus, you get this with a makeup brush. This is my favorite palette in recent times. I've used this in 2 of my videos, and this is by Wet n Wild in the shade My Glamour Squad. It's a 10-pan palette. You have a couple of mattes, couple of shimmers. It's a beautiful all-in-one palette. It's just so good. The quality is excellent. And today, of course, I'm going to be using this rose gold palette by Makeup Revolution, picking up that orange brown shade and building that up in my transition area. You want to go very light. You want to build this up and not go all at once. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just slowly layering this up a couple of times, and then just building the pigmentation step by step so that the blending is on point. Next, I'm going to be picking up this mid-tone brown shade, and I'm going to put this on the outer corner, and then I'm going to drag it into my crease. As you can see, I'm going to be placing this on my outer V area and then dragging it. First, just place the color, and then you can worry about blending. And this brush is so good for that. This is by Proa. This is the AE25 brush. And this palette is so good, you guys. The blendability, the pigmentation, everything is so good. So I'm just doing the same thing on the other eye as well. Building the color, blending, building the color, and blending. and giving a final good blend. And I'm going to be using that fluffy brush that I used for my transition area and just give a good final blend. Moving on to the shimmer shade, I'm going to be using that bronzy golden shade, and I'm going to wet my brush and then apply the shimmer onto my eyelid. It's a very nice subtle sort of a shimmer. It looked really really beautiful, but I wasn't happy with the way it looked. Even if I wet my brush, it did not look like that good, so I just wanted a little bit more pigmentation, for which I went in with my fingers and just built it up a little bit more pigmentation, and this time I was happy with it. Now deepening up my outer V with the help of that dark brown shade. Like going in with the shimmer shade first and then see how much depth I need. So that's what I did. I went in with the shimmer shade and then went in with the darker brown shade. Now I'm just blending out my crease with the help of this mid-tone brown shade that I used earlier, and this is how my upper lid looks like. And just a tiny little bit of glitter that I needed. I used the Smoky Storm shade from Swiss Beauty liquid eyeshadow, just popping it in the inner half of my eyelid, nothing over the top. And this is my favorite liquid liner, you guys. I highly recommend this for brides. It's super black, the tip is so fine, so it's very easy to draw a wing liner. I drew a very baby tiny little wing. I basically did this to apply my lashes, otherwise I don't like the way my lash sits on top of my eyelid, so I just always do a very thin liner so that my lashes look better. Moving on to face, this is my favorite moisturizer. I already moisturized my face, and using this Wet n Wild primer. It's a very beautiful primer. It has tiny specks of glitter and it gives a beautiful glow. It does have alcohol, but that does not bother me that much. And for the center part of my face, I'm using this Nykaa Prep Me Up primer. This blurs your skin out, you guys. This just looks extremely gorgeous. It literally blurred my skin out, so I'm just using this, just being high maintenance and using two primers, and I'm just applying that on the center parts of my face. Moving on to this liquid illuminator by L'Oreal. I got this on a flat 50% off, and I do not regret buying this. It's a very beautiful highlighter. Using this on the high points of my face alone. Now moving on to color correction, I'm using this Makeup Revolution color corrector. It's a very pigmented color corrector, so I'm just applying one dot wherever I have hyperpigmentation, dark spots. This is an essential step, especially if you have hyperpigmentation. If you're dusky, this is a very essential step. It's gonna make a huge difference. So I'm just using my fingers to blend this out, and then I'll be going in with a sponge to remove the excess. That way you do not take away too much of the pigmentation. So this is something that I really like to do. So now I'll be moving on to the sponge and then just removing the excess alone. And I'm using this Fit Me loose powder in the shade 25 medium to set my corrector so that it does not mix in with my foundation. That's something that I always do. So moving on to foundation, this is a beautiful foundation. This is the PAC HD liquid foundation in the shade 3.0. I saw many MUA use this and love this, and this is a great foundation, especially if you're going to be a bride. If you are collecting makeup for your bridal kit, it's a very beautiful medium to high coverage foundation. I'm just applying random dots on my face so that you get an even distribution of foundation, and then going in with the sponge. You want to blend your foundation to perfection. My hand was literally paining so much after I was done blending, so that's when you know when that you have blended out your foundation really well. So I'm just blending out my foundation really nicely, bouncing it on top of my skin. Do not drag, it's not going to blend, it's only going to remove the product if you drag your blender. So just bounce it, don't forget your ears, don't forget your neck, just bounce it very nicely on top of your skin and you'll be good to go. And this is a very nice medium to full coverage foundation. The finish of this foundation is so good. The shade match is on point. I'm NC40 and the shade 3.0 matches me so perfectly. So I took my time, I blended out my foundation, I was careful around my eyebrows as if already done them, and now I'm just dragging a little bit down my neck as well. And yeah, that's how my skin looks like. Moving on to concealer. This is my favorite concealer, you guys. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I'm just using that. It's in the shade 317.
there are only 3 shades available. If you do not find this concealer in your shade, you can also use the PAC Spotlight Cover Concealer. That also works great. And I'm using this same YBP makeup sponge to blend my concealer out. I'm just applying a little bit of concealer, nothing over the top, just some amount of concealer that I actually require, and just not doing that inverted triangle thing anymore. And I needed a little bit more precision, so I went ahead and used this buffer brush and then just blended it in the inner part of my eye where my blender could not reach. So these are some small tips and tricks that I wanted to tell you guys, you know, makes your life easier, so yeah, again going in with this small brush, then blending the concealer on the center parts of my face as well. Just spritzing my brush with this L'Oreal Infallible Setting Spray, because I just wanted it to, the base to be very nice and locked. I usually spritz my face. Now I just used the blender and spritzed it in, and then I just used it on my face, bounced it on my face. Now this is like my favorite thing to do these days. This is the Makeup Revolution Contour Kit. I use that medium shade, and I'm just cream contouring. This looks gorgeous. It blends so well. I'm using a small buffer brush and then just carving out my cheekbones. Oh my god, this palette is awesome. I use this in my minimalistic makeup routine that I uploaded recently, and I'm in love with this palette, you guys. It's a very beautiful palette. It looks extremely gorgeous and natural on the skin. It blends so well, and I'm cutting my jaw as well to cut out the double chin, blending it out really nicely. Cream contour is such a very nice way to add nice dimensions to your face. It looks extremely natural as well. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm slightly contouring my nose as well with the help of this small buffer brush, very lightly, nothing over the top. And now I'm setting my entire face, starting with underneath my eyes. Fit Me Loose Powder is the loose powder that you need to buy if you're a bride to be. It's a beautiful powder. It blurs out my skin. It has good amount of coverage. It looks extremely nice. Just go in with a light hand. Do not go overboard. Otherwise, it can look a little bit cakey. So I'm just setting wherever I concealed, center parts of my nose, my chin, my forehead and all that. So yeah, that's how my skin looks like. It looks extremely blurred and nice. For my entire face, I'm using this Lakme powder. It's a very nice powder. It's the Primer Plus Matte powder in the shade Honeydew. It's a very nice blurring sort of a powder. And to set my cream contour, I'm using this Makeup Revolution contour palette, picking up those 2 shades. It's a very nice shade. I love this palette so much. I'm setting my cream contour. As you can see, it looks extremely sharp, and I loved my contour in this look. It just looks so sharp and nice. Blending it very slightly. This is a Wet n Wild contour blush brush, contour brush. I'm not too sure, but this is by Wet n Wild. And I'm also doing reverse contouring. Not that the already existing contour wasn't sharp enough. Now I also went in with this reverse contouring to make it even more sharp. I loved the final result. Removing the bake immediately because I don't want it to set for too long. Otherwise it can get a little bit more drying. So I just removed it immediately, buffed it out nicely so that it looks a little bit more natural and sharp contour, you guys, sharp. And moving on to blush, this is the only blush that you need for your lifetime, you guys. This is a beautiful blush from Color Bar. It's in the shade Scarlet, something sweet scarlet, I guess. I'm just popping that onto my cheeks. I do not like a very blushy look, so I'm just doing a very subtle sort of a blush look. I applied it a little bit on my nose as well. Now moving on to another layer of setting spray that's gonna lock in another layer of makeup. It's gonna look awesome. I'm very happy, I guess. Yeah, I'm just bouncing the blender on top of my skin so that you do not have those spray droplets on your face. As you can see, I'm very happy. I'm showing off. And moving on to the highlighter. Oh my god, this highlighter is from Miss Claire. It's in the shade 05. It's not that chunky sort of a glittery sort of a highlighter. It's a beautiful glow from within sort of a highlighter. I'm using that on all the high points of my face. This retails for about 395 rupees only. It's a beautiful highlighter, And yeah, moving on to lower lash line now, using the Faces Intense Kajal. Again, a very beautiful, intense, dark, long-lasting kajal. I'm just drawing a very, very thin line. I'm not like doing a very thick line or anything. I just wanted a natural look on the lower lash line. So I'm just doing a very thin line, and I'm going to smoke this out and pack a brown shade that we used on the outer corner of the eyes. Just pack that shade in, and later you can blend this out. So just concentrate on packing that shadow, and then you can blend this out with the help of this transition shade that we used on top lid, just using a pencil brush and blending it out. This is not a very smoky lower lash line, it's a very subtle smoky lower lash line. For inner corner, I took that highlighting shade from the same palette. It's a very nice warm tone champagne goldeny shade. And for mascara, I'm using this L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, which is again my favorite ride or die mascara. And for lips, again my favorite lip shade, you guys. This is the Faces Intense Matte lipstick in the shade Natural Cocoa. I use this on my engagement day as well. It's a beautiful warm toned, HD finish matte lipstick. At the same time, it's so comfortable. I don't know how they made this formula. This is such a beautiful formula, long lasting, blah blah blah. It's the best. Again, another layer, a final layer of the L'Oreal Infallible Setting Spray. This locks in our makeup in place. Again, going in with the sponge so that the droplets are not visible. And that's how my skin looks like. Don't you think it looks flawless? Now I just used this nose pin that I got from Amazon, but then again after that I removed the nose pin. I didn't like it that much. And moving on to the temple jewelry, and a very beautiful green bindi and some bangles to finish off the look.